Play On Nation, help me welcome our next guest, Darryl Reynolds. Going to take us all the way back to your early days before you were a basketball player, and get to hear the journey of what it's like to become a Division I champion all the way through March Madness. So let's go all the way back to Philly, man. When you were coming up, was basketball your first love, or how did you sort of get into the game?
Actually, no. So the first game I played was baseball when I was 8. The second game was football, and I didn't necessarily like it, but I was good enough at it to continue playing. But I always loved like the arts. I think growing up in Philly, people talk so much about the sports side of things, and then people come here, they realize how cultured it is. People who aren't from the Northeast don't understand it. So much started here. So interesting to see monuments and stuff from 1776 or before that. So really highlighting that vintage look. That's really the underbelly of Philly. Sports is the underbelly. Really, the pride of Philly in many ways is the arts. It's just growing up here and being downtown as a kid, things like that. You see all these different types of people from different walks of life. You hear all this different type of music and stuff like that. So I always really liked the arts, especially movies, because it brought together so many different forms of it. You could see so many different types of things. Like I remember when I was a kid, one of my favorite movies was Ocean's 12. Simply because it was the first time that I saw Europe. Like in the movie, like I watched the movie and I saw Europe from this kind of like dreamy lens. I didn't think to watch movies like that back then, but it was on like HBO on a random one day.
Talk to me about Philly, right? One of the things that we've identified about sport is it's this binding agent within communities, and it brings people together from all different races, lenses, and we can all rally behind something. I know you've done some work, studying the history and lineage of sport. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that community and how you leaned on that to, sort of help mold you as the man you are today.
So Philly, I think being from here, when people come here, they recognize it for the fight. Anyone coming here, they resonate with Rocky. Everybody goes to the Rocky statue because that's like their guy. And like Rocky is dope. Rocky is huge. But anybody from here, the same way that anybody from, coming here goes to Pasadena, it's a cheesesteak. Anybody from here has their own personal spot, but everybody's personal spot when it comes to fighting here seems to be Joe Frazier. So it has a fighting nuance to it. In front of the stadiums is actually Joe Frazier's statue, like a huge, it's like just as big as the Rocky one in front of, we have this area called Xfinity Live. All 4 of our stadiums are right next to each other. Yep. All 4 being sports, football, basketball, hockey, and baseball. Like all 4 of the parks are right next to each other. So Xfinity Live is like the center for all of them. Joe Frazier's right out front. So anyway, that fighting identity that Philly has, like you can't help but adopt it. You're going to go through some type of fight. You know what I mean? You can't help but adopt that. And that's really what Philly will give you more than anything. It will show you just how to fight and how to grind. It's a big city with a small town feel because it's so tight knit, because so many people know each other. But yeah, man, you got to fight. You got to fight to make it here on either side.
Well, and I think, you use that word fight, and it's, I associate it with this ability to become a champion, right? Because the road to championship is very messy, and there's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of fight that you have to put in, grit, will, blood, sweat, tears. So I'm sure you pulled on, those Philly roots as you started to go deeper and deeper in the tournament and say like, hey, I've been here before, right? This isn't the first time for me. Yeah.